Hello, everybody, and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Hot for Justice.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm Chibi Noob.
I'm Envy Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back again with not an anime, but almost an anime. Might as well be an anime. We watched Ace Attorney, because we finally finished Ace Attorney, so we were like, hey, let's see a movie of Ace Attorney. That'd be fun. It's a live-action anime movie. Or live-action video game adaptation, more accurately, I guess. This came out before the anime, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so... yeah. How was this? So we just finished... yeah, we should talk about this. Like, how does this compare to Ace Attorney, I guess?
It's a little weird.
A little bit, but still pretty accurate. Like, I gotta say, as far as anime adaptations go for a movie, like live-action movies, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No.
I understand why they would have to condense the story into like one main plot, and I think, you know, for what they were trying to do, combining everything for the DL6 incident, I think that was kind of clever. So I'll give them that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
I think they went too hard. Like, some of this stuff, suspension of disbelief, like, it's video game mechanics. Like, the whole, the screens coming down so everybody can see the same thing.
I actually didn't mind that.
So
I actually
the
didn't
thing
mind that.
is that when this game was made, like the original Ace Attorney game, it was supposed to take place so many years in the future that for this sort of technology to potentially have been there, I wouldn't have called it necessarily that weird. Also, if you look at like your court record, and like all of the profiles and things, that's pretty much kind of how they all come up. Like
No,
on the
it looks
game
exactly
screen.
like it, but I just took that at face value because it's a video game.
Well, so
mean,
is
yeah.
this kind of.
I mean, I think they were just kind of sort of trying to go with the aesthetic that they already had.
I think it works because, like, tone-wise, like, Ace Attorney is over the top and kind of ridiculous in, like, that, I don't want to say Scott Pilgrim kind of way, but a little bit in that sort of, like, this is a hyper-stylized reality a little bit, and I think it kind of reflects that. And I like that.
Mhm.
I mean,
My main thing is like, I don't think everything they connected to condense everything down needed to be connected.
how so? I actually thought they did a pretty decent job with what they had available to them.
So like, the overall, like, Von Karma had hired that guy to do a hit on Mia, like I don't think that needed to be a thing.
I mean, I think
Like, I understand why in the context of the movie it made sense, but like, oh.
I think it made sense for the most part because, like, that is kind of the case that, like, is most important to her. So that would also be important to Von Karma because he's a murderer. Spoilers, Von Karma's a murderer.
If they haven't watched the Ace Attorney series,
It's been out for how fucking long? It's
Alright.
This movie itself is
It's
10 years
okay.
old, weirdly enough. But yeah, I think for the most part, it's kind of presented in sort of a pseudo mystery fashion, and like, oh, you're getting little bits and little clues here and there as it's going, not dissimilar to the game, but you know, it's just one of those things of like where you're focusing like, oh, she was murdered. Now we have to, like, you know, we got to deal with that as opposed to like figure out what she was trying to do really. And then we find out later what everything is. And it's all supposed to be like a big reveal sort of thing. So I think that worked for the most part. And everything did kind of have to tie into DL6. And I understand, like, you know, you have to do that for the movie because, like, that's your plot. I do like that they at least included the thing with Larry in the beginning. And and even like a little bit of a cameo from the Steel Samurai thing. I'm like, if you're going to incorporate it, yeah, why not use it to establish characters? That was probably the best use of that.
Yeah, so my thing isn't so much, I don't think, like, Mia should have been tied to the DL6. It's just, I don't think her murder had to have been, like, a hit Von Karma had organized.
Okay. But then how do you get the motivation for it. Is the only thing, because like Red White doesn't, and this is probably like the movie's biggest flaw, is that Red White and a lot of other characters don't get enough time to actually really establish who they are. So it's like you have to connect them to the only other people who are actually important to the plot. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Red White is kind of just there.
Well, they kind of
I mean-
oh, go ahead, JB, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, they kind of changed him, I think, for the better. Like, I understand, like, his character in the game kind of is, like, sort of its own story. But I think for what they were going with for the movie, I think, like, they made the necessary changes that they kind of had to while still keeping his name the same. Which I honestly think, like, making him, like, a magazine reporter was, I think, kind of a smart idea.
Wait, he was a magazine reporter?
So, yeah.
In the
Red
movie?
White in the movie was a magazine reporter. In the game, he's that CEO guy, remember?
Yeah, no, I remember who Red White is. He's kind of hard to forget. This guy looks nothing like Red White.
Right.
First
Yes,
off,
but
I think,
He's so
Red
dragged
White.
now.
I know. This is a bit of a side thing, but like for a movie that painstakingly tried to make their characters look exactly like they do in the game, they dropped the fucking ball on him. That's beside the point. I do not remember them ever mentioning that he worked as a magazine guy.
What, in the movie?
Yeah, in the movie.
So it was his article that ruined the mother.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how he
Okay.
tied into the DL6.
All right, okay. I guess that makes sense then.
Because they basically made the pun of Red White, and then they did black all over with his outfit and made him the magazine reporter.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
The joke's not as funny when you have to
I think
explain
he
it.
was still a magazine reporter in the game, though. Like, I still think he ruined Misty over the DL6.
No, he did,
And
yeah.
the whole thing was that Mia wasn't going after the actual DL6. She was always going after Red White.
Okay. Yeah, but that's just...
Don't think he was a magazine reporter, though. I think he was just blackmailing people.
I think he just, like, leaked it to a magazine, maybe.
I mean, maybe Blue Corp was doing something like that. I mean, Blue Corp was a corporation in the game. It has to have some form of legitimate business. It can't, even if it's running behind the scenes entirely off of, like, blackmail and information brokering, it has to have some sort of legitimate front. And a magazine would be a pretty decent one to work with. Especially if like you have to have a bunch of people running around getting info on people. It's a perfect cover.
Because,
Yeah.
okay, so the thing is like, Mia and Maya always believed in Misty. They didn't think she, like, was a fraud or anything.
Right.
So she would have had no reason to think the DL6 was unsolved.
Right.
Like, I do
But-
like the aspect that she was working to actively, like, fix what her mother broke. I don't know. I don't like what they did with Red.
I don't either, but I think a lot of it has to do with, like, I just see him and I'm like, that's not Red. That's just not Red. That's like any other character, but it's not Red.
Yeah, they could have just made him an original character, to be honest.
Nah, you can't do that because then people are going to complain, well, where's Red White? And, like, this is them going like, well, here's Red White. But I'm still going, where's Red White?
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame. I don't know. Not at the same time, it's like he was such a big character, even just by appearances, that it's like, you're going to take up too much time in the movie if you're full on Red White. Like, that's a lot. And I also understand why they cut out the secretary and some of the other
Yeah.
characters. Is like that. It's a little superfluous when you're condensing them down.
Right.
I gotta ask, because you guys ended up, like, played more of these games than I have. In the Peanut Gallery, are there, like, cameos by other characters who come later in the series?
No.
Damn.
So-
we were thinking some of the people
they
with, like, the
so colorful.
yeah,
out
the
there,
people with the
yeah.
weird hair, and some of them
Yeah.
had outfits. I'm like, okay, this has to be like Easter eggs for hardcore fans.
So,
No, I think it's just the fact that, like, all of their witnesses are such big characters. Or, like,
you had
is
to
it
have a couple
awfully
weirdos.
convenient that
Okay.
just these people happen to be the weirdos, or just is everybody like that?
Honestly, it just reminded me of
That's
Let's
fair.
Make a Deal, that game show where people dress up in crazy costumes. Like, that's all I could think of when I was watching it.
Maybe people do that for courts here.
I mean,
I
you know
don't
what?
know.
They're like,
how-
pick me.
It's like, it's just like half the people look totally normal and half of them are like auditioning for the Hunger Games or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how closely you actually looked, but like half the people, like they only had like half a wig on their head.
Yeah, no, I did
and,
notice
like,
that.
their
It was like
natural hair.
it was like, yeah, like one shot of like weird afro, like green, purple, whatever wigs. I don't know.
I
It's
think
just
it was very amusing.
it was, but I was like really like wondering like, okay, who are they from? Which game are they from? Like, what is this person like? Because I feel like that might have been a decent opportunity to maybe like throw in some people, but you know, maybe at the same time people would have been like, well, why isn't this person in the movie? Why is it like a background thing?
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
did do that once. They threw Von Karma in the peanut gallery.
Yeah, but he's an actual character.
And then there's just Larry just doing his thing in the peanut gallery like the entire movie.
Yeah,
I
if
love
anyone's gonna get contempt of court. Speaking of contempt, I gotta tell you, Von Karma in this, actually a believable person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said so much crap about Von Karma in the game of like the moment you walk in and start talking that way, the judge throws you out. I'm like, no, this guy actually knows how to act in court. And I'm like
He knows how to be a
believing
professional.
who he is. Yeah.
The judge did not seem like as big of an idiot.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's kind of going for that like
He's not
wise old
stupid,
man
he's
kind of
just
thing.
old.
Yeah.
He's
Didn't have
just old and like, I don't know. It felt like it established the court system. a
Maybe take it
little
more
Yeah.
better.
seriously. Yeah. Still think it's the dumbest fucking court system there's ever been. But
I mean, to be fair, it makes it even feel like there are like higher stakes when it's less of a comedy
That's
and more of an
true.
actual courtroom drama.
Although
Yeah.
saying that though, they still blow out confetti when someone gets a not guilty verdict. So
I love
love that.
I love that.
Confetti.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Oh my god, that was
Oh, yeah,
the
that
best.
was
It's like,
so
"Hey."
The
funny.
lady who just like threw
Hey.
it unenthusiastically.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I wish they would have done that for the whole movie instead of actually making
Right.
it rain confetti.
I wanted just somebody
No,
doing
that's for the lower courts. You get to the big court, they're gonna have the big fanfare.
I really would just want to gumshoe throwing confetti at
Okay.
everyone.
I'm not gonna lie, I fell asleep right at the end of the movie. Did they establish that Larry had stole the money still?
yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was like the
Perfect.
last. That was like
Love it.
the
Phoenix-
last scene of the movie, or one of the last.
Phoenix
scenes.
tried to kick his ass,
Mhm.
as he
Yeah.
should.
Even better.
Yeah,
He started chasing
and then
him.
and like okay, and then afterwards we have over the credits we have Maya leaving.
I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I was really
honestly
disappointed overall with Maya in general.
Yeah.
Like they did not put any
useless.
effort into her.
Maya
Like-
was actually useless, yes.
Like
Yeah.
the actress that plays her looks the part, and the costume looks good, but like she doesn't have the
Yeah.
energy. She just kind of just stands
The
there.
thing,
Part of it
Just
is
I
they
think they were-
didn't do
personality.
anything with her.
Okay.
the thing with her is like I think they were trying to go for pretty but serious, but mostly just there to like be the pretty face or like the
Yeah.
damsel in distress.
And like that sucks because that's Edgeworth's position.
I will say this though, Edgeworth was perfect in the movie. The actor that got to play
He
him,
was really good.
he was
yeah.
really
He was
good.
Yeah.
I felt like
Kozi?
Mia looked a little creepy in the movie.
She's a little blank. Like she doesn't
Yeah.
have a lot of
Little.
expressions, and like, granted, it's a game. Everyone's a lot more expressive in the game, but like, I think that was part of like, I mean, in general, we just got more like Maya in the game, and Mia as well, because we got to actually like get to know who they were.
Yeah, but like in the game at least, they established like after her trial, and they get her off the hook. It's like she's cheerful, she's energetic, she toys with
Well-
Phoenix, and in the movie, she just kind of mopes and just
Stays,
does
like-
just does
What-
nothing.
Dead.
She definitely has more of an attitude in the movie.
I mean,
Does she?
I didn't even get that from her.
She
She had
almost
way- I
wants
think
to
she
go
had-
and tackle someone in the courtroom.
I think video
maybe-
game Maya would have done that too.
I think
I don't
maybe
think so.
this was another like suffering of condensing all of it
Yeah.
because
Right.
Mia is really happy and upbeat, but
Maya.
in context of the
Maya?
movie, shut up.
Mhm.
In
Mia's dead.
context of the movie,
it's only been like 4 days since her sister was murdered.
Yeah, that's true. Like,
That is true.
I mean, part of the other thing is that we don't have the Steel Samurai section, which is
Right.
really where we get to know Maya more than anything
Yeah.
else. We get to know her during the trial, but it's under duress. It's under, like, these circumstances of, like, oh, all this terrible things happen. It's on top of Mia's death and everything else. We don't really get to interact with Maya on just a regular basis until Steel Samurai and then the DL6 and the Gord Lake murder and all that sort of stuff. So, like, we didn't get any time to actually get to know her, and as a result, I don't think any of us cared about her.
No.
Yeah.
She's just kind of there to, at one point, get possessed, and then just, I can't do it again. Oh, no.
Right. And their
Yeah.
goodbye was so heartwarming in the video game. I really
Yeah.
liked it. And it just
I
felt
kind-
like bye in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they had no proper goodbye, no lines, and I was just like, I feel very unenthused by
It's
this
like, okay,
departure.
Babysitting duty is over now.
They didn't really establish a relationship between her and Phoenix.
No.
Yeah.
You
No.
didn't even get a Nick out of it.
Yeah, because
Nope.
it goes right from her trial. The next day is Edgeworth gets accused of murder. So it's like, you don't...
Right.
We're just
There's
like, we
no
gotta
time.
move. It's like... I never really thought about Ace Attorney having, like, a really dense plot, but it kind of does. It's just spaced out a lot more
I
in the
mean,
game.
I think one of the strengths of the game is that we do get to know all the characters
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
But it kind of lost that in this, especially a character like Maya, who just, like, is there constantly, and we know her so well in the game, and she's, like, our buddy, and then she's just nobody in the movie.
Honestly, I'm
She
trying
had
to...
no reason to stick around.
Right, it's like, I get
Well,
why she left in
well,
the movie.
She might have, because, like, here's the thing. They never got around to Red White's trial that they were supposed to eventually get to after the investigation.
Yeah.
Because he was then
Oh.
a suspect. She probably was
Yeah,
staying
you're
around for
right.
that, and then just got tied up to the rest of it, because it all connected back to DL6.
Yeah.
You're right.
So, I mean, which is decent enough of a reason to stay in the movie, but it's,
But it's like, I'm not sad that she left at the end, because
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like they were partners, whereas in the
I-
video game, they're partners, you know?
So
Yeah.
I think the fact of the matter is like they're predicating people seeing this movie have already played the game, so you already know the context for these scenes.
true.
which
Yeah.
makes
I
me
know.
ticked off in one way, but pleased in another way. But I'll let you guys continue.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking
I
about something
mean-
different. But
Ah.
All right, well,
Oh.
let us know when we get there. But I almost kind of think, and not to say this is like a bad movie in any way. I know we're like ragging on it a little bit here because of that. Because part of it is just, it's like, this was a very important character. I think that this might have worked better as like a TV show, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like spend
Yeah.
2 episodes per case, maybe 3. But 1 per day, I don't know. I don't know how you would exactly want to break it down, but that would have given us a little bit more downtime and stuff to get to know, like, maybe Maya, even Mia a little bit, because I know we do get to talk to Mia a little bit more in the game, and
So-
here
I
she
mean, that's what
basically
the
shows
anime
up.
does. The first 12 episodes
Yeah.
of the anime covers the first game. So they spent like the first case
You
was
mean
like
the first trial?
no, the first in the anime it's
You said the first 4 episodes covered the first game.
Oh, sorry. I meant to say first 12 episodes.
Okay.
Because in
that
season
sounds
1
reasonable.
in season 1 they cover the first 2 games, and then season 2 they cover the third game. So I haven't seen. I just read about it. So yeah, the first episode is just the Butts case, but otherwise most of the time they spend 2 to 3 episodes per case.
Yeah, and I think that gives you a lot more time to do stuff, because like we have little montages of Phoenix and Maya like going around Gord Lake investigating stuff, and I'm like interested, but at the same time it's really just there to show a passage of time more than anything
Okay.
else.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is Criminal Minds Ace Attorney edition.
As long as we keep some of the comedy of Ace Attorney, I'm down. Criminal Minds is not as humorous, I don't think, for the most
No.
part, except for whenever like the beginning and end of the episode, whenever they like do their little character bits.
Yeah.
Like who's the one guy?
Oh,
he's
I
like
know
the
you're talking
scientist.
about.
The
Yeah,
genius
It
Yeah, the
depends
genius
on
kid.
which
Yeah.
criminal minds you're talking about.
The main one. I don't know.
The
yeah,
original one.
the one that
Yeah.
everyone gives a shit about.
Right.
Yeah, I could see something like that, absolutely. Or Law and Order or whatever. Yeah, pick your NCIS show or something like that. I think that's a decent enough format for that. I know you don't like procedurals, but, you know, this is, I mean, Ace Attorney's a little bit of a procedural, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little more extended out, and there's a little more character than a lot of procedurals have, but, yeah.
It's a similar format. It's a little bit more fun as a game, you know,
Oh,
to
yeah.
have a
Yeah, yeah.
procedural, but...
And part of it is you get to make decisions.
Right, exactly. So you're, like, involved, so I have a better time with that than watching procedurals, personally.
So we've
I
brought
want to
up...
know. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. I was gonna say I want to know what Envy had issues with
Yeah.
that he alluded to.
Well, okay, before we get to the technical part of the movie, because I've been talking about that for weeks, but my biggest thing I liked about the movie that was a change versus what I didn't like about the movie personally that was a change had to deal with the DL6. The biggest thing I thought I liked a lot more was how they handled Yanni Yogi in this movie, how they gave him like a very tragic backstory. I mean, they hinted that in the game, but to actually see it play out, I thought was
it
really
felt much
effective.
more devastating.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't know what this movie was rated in Japan, but they freaking showed his wife's body. Like, jeez.
I
Maybe
mean,
give it a
if you,
PG-13 over here, maybe.
I mean, honest, to have them show that imagery in Japanese media isn't uncommon, to be fair.
I get that.
Um,
But yeah, Yanni
true.
Yogi was the biggest pleasant surprise for me as far as what was changed slightly. The biggest thing I didn't like that was changed plot-wise was Gregory Edgeworth and the whole incident of the DL6, because in the game, it was Gregory that discovered that Von Karma was basically cheating or hiding evidence or whatever it was. Whereas in the
Tampering.
movie, it was Gregory that was initially trying to hide or cover up evidence, or so
No,
we thought.
it wasn't. No,
Well,
yeah,
no.
no. By the end, it's still Von Karma was tampering. It's
But-
a bit of a bait and switch, I grant you, but yeah.
But I also thought the explanation of the incident being in the evidence room was kind of stupid. Like in the game, it made sense for Edgeworth not to remember anything because they lost oxygen in the elevator, and so everything was hazy. But he gets hit with the gun, sure, but you mean to tell me you still can't tell that Von Karma killed your dad? Like, were you that knocked out from just getting hit by that?
I mean,
I kind of disagree with you.
I
I
mean,
actually
fair.
disagree.
I actually think it
Did
works
they
better the way
say-
they did it in the movie. Because
Did they actually say he didn't remember it in the movie, though?
I think they said something about, like, he
Yeah.
like, remembered, yeah. Part of my issue, and I brought this up when we played the game, is that you don't run out of fucking oxygen in that fucking elevator.
Yeah.
So that's a fucking stupid thing. Now, Edgeworth, like, got slammed into that shelf, a metal shelf, pretty hard. Probably hit his head and neck, and I was almost kind of, like, waiting to hear, like, a crack, and he's like, oh, he's paralyzed, or he's dead, or something. So I'm not at all
Yeah.
surprised that he passed out afterwards.
yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
thinking this boy
Yeah.
has a concussion.
Honestly, Yogi as well. That's a 1911 pistol. It's a handgun. It's not like 50 pounds, but it's solid. It's metal, and it's, you get hit in the head hard enough, that thing'll do some damage. I mean, he could have gotten knocked out by that. Had
I
it
mean-
maybe been a little high, it hit him in the back. He
Yeah.
shouldn't have been knocked out by that, but maybe they just put that CG gun. It was a CG gun. You could have just aimed that a little bit higher, and I would have been like, yeah, no, he got knocked out because he basically got air pistol whipped.
Yeah, my only real issue with that scene was more the fact that the gun went off without the trigger being pulled. But-
That's not entirely uncommon. I don't
No, I
know it
know.
happening as much with that sort of model, but it happens. There's plenty of times guns go off, and it's
I would just
Completely by
expect it to
accident.
be a harder surface than
Nope.
a human body, but I don't know.
nope. That's why you don't
I
throw
have-
guns around.
I have two thoughts on
Yes.
the scene. See, I agree with Al where I thought it was probably a better setup than the elevator because the elevator doesn't entirely make sense. But
Mhm.
also the issue I have with it not being the elevator is that if they were to like make another movie or something, then you wouldn't have the established Edgeworth trauma over elevators, which is like
Yeah.
I mean,
important.
it wasn't
important
really
part for his
there anyway. They
character.
go up the stairs. It doesn't seem like that big of a
Yeah.
courthouse, or at least that not that tall of a courthouse.
I think it was
Yeah.
more that earthquake than the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue with the scene was honestly like there wasn't a reason for Yanni Yogi to actually attack Gregory the way he did.
I think it was because he saw someone trying to tamper with evidence. And he's
You
like,
don't know if he was trying to tamper with it. He just saw an attorney going through evidence.
But didn't he
True.
like load the gun?
he was checking the gun, which is a little weird.
But not in
Part of-
Ace Attorney logic.
Okay, yeah, but part of this is also it has to be a movie where we have to accept a bit more of reality a little bit. I mean, I don't think that he would have left that gun loaded anyway,
No.
but
I just-
Don't
don't
leave
think-
a gun loaded.
I don't think it made sense for him to attack the way he did.
I think he had a pretty good, ground kick move that was pretty, I was not expecting that from him, but I kind of buy it. I think, I don't think he would attack immediately. I think you would be like, all right, I think you need to come with me. And then if Edgeworth goes for something, then you fight or something. Because he is, that was the prosecution's evidence. He's the defense attorney. And you're in there alone without anyone else. And,
But
it's
that's
very
not Mia.
suspicious.
We saw Mia do it. She walked off with evidence.
Yeah, when no one else was around and when the courthouse was closed. That was fucking suspicious, too.
Now, I'll say this. The way that Gregory was acting all nervously, he was kind of acting sus. He wasn't, going through it calmly. He was kind of going through it, hurriedly. So maybe Yanni heard it, and he was just kind of like, what the hell are you doing?
I almost feel like there might have been, a missing piece of that scenario. Like Edgeworth Miles being, 10 might not have, remembered maybe a conversation happening between Yogi and his dad, where he's like, what are you doing here? Why are you doing that? What are you, you can't be doing that, and, then they get into an altercation. I don't know if, maybe that would have helped a little bit, because, immediately attacking someone that you just see opening a drawer, not exactly something you should be doing, whether you're a security bailiff or whatever else, but, I feel like there's just a conversation missing here.
Other than that, I feel like they established, a great motive for Von Karma actually wanting to kill Gregory. Instead of, oh, I got in trouble, dang. It was quite literally, Gregory was about to expose him for fabricating evidence.
Yeah, honestly, I think, that's a big thing. Like you said, the thing with Yogi was a big improvement. I think Von Karma, again, was a huge improvement over the game, because I actually believe that this man could be a lawyer and not get thrown out of court. I believe that he would be successful at it, but I can also believe that, he would murder someone because he's been tampering with evidence, and they establish it far better. It works in a way that the game, was like, wow, you're a real petty asshole.
He's the stereotypical game villain. I guess he's the quote-unquote main villain or antagonist, if you will.
I mean, he does set a lot of the stuff in motion.
Did anyone else kind of feel like at the beginning Von Karma was kind of being disappointed dad? All right, Miles, come on. Why are you pushing evidence and stuff just to get the guilty prosecution?
I think he was just more disappointed that he was losing to an attorney that half the time had a constipated look on his face because he was so nervous.
Before the case with Phoenix.
That scene.
Oh,
yeah,
the Still
remember.
Samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah. he was like, oh, don't push too far.
Yeah.
Like, you're going a little astray there.
So
I
I think he was trying to tell him to, like, maybe not go so hard with the evidence. You know, try to cut back a little bit, just so it doesn't seem like he's trying to, you know, forge evidence and constantly win a case. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I'm almost kind of wondering, because, like, again, if we're talking game versus movie, game is just a complete asshole who's really good at one thing. Movie version, I actually think that Von Karma had a good motivation for the terrible things that he was doing. He wanted to get criminals off the street. He wanted to do these things, but at the same time, I think to some degree he was able to reflect on himself like, I have tampered with evidence and it nearly cost me my entire career. Doesn't mean he stopped, but he was like, he might have been going like, Edgeworth, you're putting criminals like in jail. Good. Be careful how you're doing it, because like he knows what's going to happen if Edgeworth keeps doing that, and I don't know that he thinks Edgeworth is competent enough to not get caught, which will then come back to him to some degree. Like, that might be part of it, and he is the mentor character. He has to at least act like the mentor up until he can drop him and get rid of him.
Well, no, how you just phrased that, I do think that makes sense. Of, you know, if Edgeworth gets caught doing something fishy, naturally they're gonna be like, well, he learned it from you.
Yeah, people are going to start scrutinizing him, and then it's going to bring up a whole bunch of other stuff, which he doesn't want brought up. He likes these cases finished, closed, done, don't ever look back at it. Which, if you look back at it, and I guarantee you, like, I hate to say this case throws the entire bench system out, I think. Because you have a guy who's been doing this bench trial system for 40 years, convicting people constantly, and now you just starting to question all of his convictions over the last 40 years. Some of those people might have been sentenced to death. Some of those people have been serving decades of jail time when they were innocent. I'm not going to say that he didn't put any like legitimate criminals away. But at the same time, that also brings their cases into question. What if as a result of this, criminals are now going to be out on the streets again? Like, I really hate this. I think that the end of this movie, the end of this trial, brings their entire system into question. Because,
I mean, in all honesty, you could say that about the...
It just works.
I mean, you could honestly say that about the first game, too.
I fucking hate it. I fucking hate their whole, we adopted the bench trial system. It works. It's the same dumbass logic they have in those fucking Purge movies, where they're like, the Purge just works. It doesn't.
Well...
You have no actual arguments to actually support anything you're doing.
Until you get further into the series, like, they do bring up the failings of the bench trial system. Just like how in The Purge, they do bring up the failings of The Purge.
Yeah,
and how
what,
it
in
was
movie 4?
Basically a government conspiracy.
Well, I'm not surprised that if the entire bench trial system isn't a huge government conspiracy just to keep jails full and keep the prison industrial complex chugging along. I mean, it's kind of fucking ridiculous. You gotta have a miracle to get out of this system innocent.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe Von Karma is the straw that breaks the camel's back, and people are suddenly like, you know what? I know a bunch of people who were like, tried for this shit and found guilty when they weren't, or like this sort of thing, and like you bring everything into question and the entire judicial system comes crashing down. This was a terrible system. I don't know that anyone's ever questioned that, but like it just always needs to be said every time. Ace Attorney is not a system that laws should be laws and trials and all this stuff should be happening in.
Good old Japanifornia.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will also say, this may have just been like pure stupidity on my part, but I also never really realized that they had actual normal Japanese names that made so much more sense. And
Yeah,
the American version, the translation really hammed up a lot of these names.
Yeah, it's localization and that sort of thing.
Because the thing is like their names are all puns. So,
Yeah, so
they
they had to-
kind of had to figure out a way how to do that for each of the characters.
Yeah.
Like, going through and watching the movie, I'm like, okay, I can obviously see what the subtitles are saying, but that is not the name they're saying.
Yeah.
no.
I'm like, it never occurred to me that they had normal Japanese names.
I'm sure we could look up a list
I mean,
to see
I doubt
what...
his name is Nick.
No, I mean, his name even in English isn't Nick, it's Phoenix.
No, I know, but she
It's-
calls him Nick as a nickname. I doubt she does in the Japanese version.
There, whatever his name is probably there's another shortened...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense to have a nickname for Phoenix in Japanese because Phoenix is not a traditional Japanese name.
It's not a traditional any kind of name.
Yeah.
I have only ever known two characters named Phoenix. It is this character and Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man. I gotta show you guys that one. He's like Bugs Bunny in the body of Wesley Snipes.
That's terrifying.
Oh, it's great. It's fantastic. Also, because the hero in the movie is Sylvester Stallone, and because of the way that he says words every time he says Phoenix, you think he's saying penis. He yells it so much. It's great. I gotta show you this. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Anyway, on when you spend a lot of time on AO3, you kind of get familiarized seeing both of the names because in the tags,
Yeah.
it's written the Japanese name and then the English name.
I
don't
mean,
know,
but
it just
it's still a joke with Phoenix's name, though, in the Japanese.
Is it? What is it?
Because Naruhodo means right. It means, like, correct. Like, you're
Ah.
correct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right. So
Yeah.
that pun carries over.
Yeah. Because when they say right, that's what that means. Like, they only just say his name because they don't need to say anything else.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. What haven't we talked about yet?
Well, I have some grievances, but I'm going to save that for last.
Okay. Any other
got one
characters or...
thing.
Well, okay, go ahead.
Kozi slept through this part, but the post-credit scene when Edgeworth was like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
my methods do not violate the law, but they seem to have violated you. I'm like, huh?
I thought he said they
Yeah.
annoyed you. Maybe there was like a different subtitles that we saw.
Maybe. Where did
They
you
s-
watch it?
We pirated it.
Yeah.
That's why.
we
Yeah, it's like-
watched the official translation, so
We caved and bought it on Amazon.
No, I bought it on
Not
YouTube,
even rented,
so-
bought.
Oh, I rented it. So you actually bought it.
Yes, I purchased it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
you're-
our version said my methods don't violate the laws, but they seem to irritate you.
Yeah.
Well, no, but
Lame.
he said violate.
It wasn't as
Oh,
spicy in ours.
God damn, we didn't get the spicy version.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty gay throughout the movie. Between
I was gonna
them.
say I did not find it super gay. I had the wrong
Yeah.
subs.
Yeah.
I don't...
They were serving looks. Everyone other than Red White in this movie is serving looks.
Yeah, their
But-
smiles at the end there. I was like, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're like they smiled at when they got to the courthouse. They smiled at each other
Yeah.
across the courtroom, and literally everyone in the audience is going, "Oh God, get a room." Actually, I was
Yeah,
waiting.
They know they're doing it.
I was waiting. Well, I knew it was going to happen because like the meme doesn't make sense back then. But like I just saw him pull out the guitar. I was just waiting for him to go, "Ding, I love you, bitch. Ding, I ain't gonna stop loving you, bitch."
Wow.
It's kind of fucking great.
Another note I had is I didn't like that they revealed baby Miles that quickly.
Little weird,
'Cause, like,
yeah.
It hits harder when you see baby Phoenix crying at the last trial, and in the back of the room, it's Miles in stupid little shorts and bow ties standing up. It's like, objection! This man's innocent without proof!
Yeah, maybe they should have cut that one shot of the three of them.
Yeah,
beforehand.
or even just pushed it back.
So
Yeah.
I
They
think
seemed like
much better friends than in the game, where they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, we knew each other for 6 months and then he disappeared.
Well, yeah, because
So
that's the only actual... We get one line of that versus, like, yeah, we actually get a shot of them.
So I think the thing is again, they're making the movie predicated on that you already know this information. It's kind of like what they did with the Final Fantasy VII Remake and why Sephiroth showed up so much earlier than he did in the original game. You already know what's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen. Speaking of characters, so we've already talked about Edgeworth seems very on point. Larry is, like... He is, like, possessed by the spirit of that character. Like,
He's so good.
Yeah, he's the Matthew Lillard as Shaggy of this movie.
Yeah.
I do not mind Larry in the game.
I didn't say that Larry was bad in the game. I'm saying this actor perfectly channeled Larry.
Well, no. So, like, that's the thing. I don't mind Larry in the game. I know, Al, you kind of have, like, a hate relationship with him, but, like, I don't mind him in the game.
When have I ever said that I hate Larry?
I thought you liked Larry.
I like Larry. I just, whenever I'm playing Phoenix, I'm annoyed by Larry. It's like, shut up, Larry. Because I just find it funny.
Yeah, this isn't a Shiloh situation.
No, fuck
where
Shiloh.
Your hatred's real there.
Oh my god, fucking Shiloh.
Anyway.
Watch our gaming videos at some point.
No, I refuse. Larry in the movie, though.
Larry in the movie.
Oh my god.
I liked him.
15 accounts of
He was
contempt of
fun.
court.
Honestly, when I was watching him on screen, I'm like, why do I feel like if they made, like, a live-action adaptation of Journey to the West, that he would be a very good person to play a Sun Wukong sort of character? I don't know. He was just so goofy all the time. It's
Maybe.
just sort of
I don't know.
his thing.
I don't know. There's a lot of adaptations of that. You never know. He might have.
Yeah, he was a very good Larry. Top marks.
He's very extra.
I think my favorite actor in the
As
movie
he
was
should
probably Edgeworth's actor, because I thought he just his expressions and his mannerisms I thought were really good. Did you guys like
I
Phoenix?
always liked Gumshoe.
I honestly was a bit more enthusiastic about Gumshoe's actor, to be honest.
Yeah.
I kind of liked
Gumshoe's
him.
my favorite.
I think he worked with, and also kind of like took away some of the annoying elements of like, yeah, I'm just not going to give you any of the evidence. Because that's
Yeah.
not how anything
Yeah.
fucking works.
They didn't give him enough time to be stupid.
Yeah.
But that
Oh my
almost...
gosh, the moment
I gotta
in the
tell you
middle
that-
of the trial where Phoenix is like, this is new evidence to me. I'm like, hallelujah, some logic in the court trial.
Yeah. Like, that's... I think you get, like, normal circumstances would be like, hey, we're going to recess and come back another day after we've had actual time to review this, because this is, like, you can't, like, surprise someone in court with, like, everyone's like, oh, we'll bring in a surprise witness. There's no such thing. There's never been a surprise witness. The only witness that's ever a surprise is if it's a surprise to the spectators, because they're not actually involved as a legal team. Yeah, it's dumb.
Not when your trial's 3 days at max.
That's, you know what? We've already talked about how dumb that is.
And you get to withhold evidence as a gotcha moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a mistrial
Anyways.
right there.
Just that one instance of Phoenix being like, what the fuck? Yes.
Yeah, that's a what
Thank
the fuck
you.
moment. Yeah. They actually, like, again, it's not perfect, but, like, they almost kind of show this world from the games in an actual realistic way, how it would work, still suck, but work in the real world. Like, Gumshoe is cooperative. He might not be on your side whenever you're, like, trying to defend the guy that he just arrested, but yeah, he's cooperating and whatnot.
Oh, the blue guy.
The blue badger?
Yeah.
The
What is
Yeah.
up with that?
Okay.
I don't know.
The blue suit.
So-
It wasn't a guy. Did you guys see
Yeah.
in the back?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
suit was
like-
empty.
It was sentient.
It was
Yeah.
the spirit of justice, Kozi
That's what I
said.
said. That's exactly what I
That
said.
is
to Yin.
exactly what he said.
I said that was too early. Apollo doesn't come in until later.
Yeah.
just like the hopping up to like stop the gavel from hitting me.
And
I
no
loved
one
it.
noticed him. He snuck up like a ninja.
I know.
That's how
Their
justice
security
sneaks
guards
up.
suck.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
the Blue
yeah.
Badgers are basically part of the police force.
May I
Didn't
ask?
he also roll out with the police force?
Oh, yeah, he
in
did.
the beginning.
He's there
He
in
did.
every shot with the police doing stuff.
He is their mascot. So.
Can I ask,
Yes.
how is it a badger?
We don't
No,
know.
listen, you cannot ask.
Oh.
Do not question Gumshoe.
Oh, so badger as in like police
Oh,
badge.
it's a badge. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Oh my
the
God.
animal.
I never understood that until now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I'm like, you can call him Star, a bat. Okay.
Chibi, I think you just
Wow.
gave us all some existential crises.
You're welcome.
It's
Okay, well,
right-
bye everybody. I gotta go think about this for the rest of
It's
my life.
right fucking there and I never noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, police badges, badger. Yeah. It was a thing.
Why didn't you call him
Honestly, like-
Badgie? I feel like a number of other people have probably made this mistake. That or I'm just fucking stupid.
So I think the thing with me was because I played Ace Attorney Investigations first out of all of the games, which is the one with Miles Edgeworth. Like the Badger actually plays a pretty big role in one of the cases.
Oh my god, we need to play this now.
So it was actually probably like I understood what they were representative of from like God for like a long time, and then I never really understood why people thought they were animals. I'm like, oh,
Because a badger's a
Ah.
thing.
yeah.
I'm playing through that trial right now, and I still didn't understand they were badges.
I don't know that they should have called it Badger. Maybe they should have called it
Yeah.
Badgie.
Badgie or
Badgie, maybe I would have made that. That's not as good of a name. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah, I
but-
don't know.
Huh.
Or at the very least, even if they wanted it to be a badge, they could have incorporated some element of a badger into it.
His head is the badge. That's why he
Put-
has the points.
Yes, but like put stripes down it or something to represent the animal.
But it's not the animal.
I mean, they made it blue and gold. That was their attempt.
Well, Sonic's blue, but he's a hedgehog. It doesn't matter what colors they are.
Whoa. Some word association I'm having that probably means nothing, but Phoenix is often compared to Sonic because his head is spiky.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Although,
And
don't they call him a
Tails-
porcupine?
Anyway, Tails, his name is Miles.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Don't make
is
it
okay
weird.
Is it okay if I leave the call
fanfic
now?
writers.
Is it what?
Is it okay if I leave the call now?
Are you just getting
Dismissed.
uncomfortable because the furry is talking?
Oh.
Whoa, who's furry?
Oh, I thought you were a furry now.
Oh.
Oh! I don't know if I told you guys this, but I decided recently. Furries are all, like, mysteriously rich, right?
They gotta be.
Are they?
No,
Are
they're
they?
not.
Maybe.
They're not.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that was a
Do you know how
stereotype.
expensive it is to make a fursuit?
I mean,
Wow, that's
yes.
true.
Like, they drop loads on commissions. It's insane. So I think I've been thinking about this backwards. You don't magically become a furry once you hit a certain, like, income level. It's the other way around. You become a furry, and then you get the money. So I
Oh,
decided I'm
so
going
it's
to
like
become a furry,
Scarface.
and now I'm going to be rich.
Gotcha. I gotta show you guys Scarface. You guys aren't gonna
Did
get
you
that.
have
with
to
the
do
tip.
that right when you got a raise?
Ah, I see.
So,
Anyways, I
so the
am
best
filing
way-
for divorce.
So what I'm
Okay.
hearing is the best way to get ahead in this economy is to become a furry. Therefore, you will be more motivated to make more money.
Maybe.
I'm good with where
I think
I'm
just
at.
once
think.
I announce that somebody's going to give me like $10 million.
Nah.
Or
Nah.
a raise, a big raise.
So
Nah.
I'm filing for divorce.
Okay.
I understand that. I'll come as a character witness. You know, in the
Thank you.
actual court system that's a real thing.
No, I want an on-bench trial.
Okay. All right. Hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. How in the hell would a divorce trial work in the bench system?
They could make it work in
Your
Ace Attorney.
irreconcilable differences and how your shit should be split, and whoever wins gets it all.
We found Cece not guilty. You are not permitted to divorce.
You get into some dark areas. Anyway.
Or at the very least, like, CC not guilty, they get all the shit.
I don't know. Are we in a no fault state?
Can't raise 5 cats alone.
If I cannot divorce, I will simply die.
And then the cats eat you. It's the circle of life. Okay, so before we get demonetized, do we have anything else to say about Ace Attorney? Who am I kidding? We're never getting monetization.
Well,
That's a
I guess there's
pipe
one
dream.
thing of the movie we haven't really talked much about.
Oh, right, your grievances.
Well, no, before that, what did everybody think of Phoenix himself?
He's okay.
It was fine.
It's alright.
Very
He made the hair
incompetent.
work.
Okay, I'm gonna disagree with you there. I think the wig just was bad.
Okay, I
And
didn't
it
like the
bothered me the whole
hairline.
movie.
Yeah,
I liked
the wig
it.
wasn't
I was okay with
a
it.
good wig, but like, I could see. Playing the game, I'm like, how is this a person? How is his hair doing that? And like, even though it was a bad wig, I was like, okay, I can see this.
I think part of the reason that maybe it's like not as believable for because like here's the thing, he doesn't even have the weirdest hairstyle in the movie. That goes to Larry, but Larry's is clearly intentional, and I think to some degree Phoenix is supposed to be like, yeah, it just naturally goes like this. I just gel it.
I think if they wouldn't have included trying to like give him a wacky like hairline,
Yeah.
it would have looked much better, and
It
it
was the
bothered me
hairline.
the whole movie.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I kind of see what you're saying.
They just needed to make it less intense. Like, they needed to, like, blend it somehow.
It looked like Sharpie.
Right.
A little bit. I almost feel like I definitely feel like, and maybe this is just because it's the player, but I really feel like Phoenix is more competent of a lawyer in the video game.
Oh yeah, without a
Oh
doubt.
my god, like the fumbling paperwork and stuff, like
Yeah. And maybe it's, like, not to say that Phoenix was never fumbling or tripping over himself or, like, waiting for the moment that Mia comes to help after she possesses her sister. But, like, I think this might be another product of, like, this is a very condensed timeline of the story. So we have to get all of his failing moments all at once. And it's like, I'm almost like, how did you pass law school?
So
Is there law school? Because I don't think I feel like the bench system's
Yes.
law
Yes.
school is like
no,
3
There
weeks.
is. Because
There's-
he minored
Phoenix
in law.
followed Miles.
I'm
to
just
law
saying.
school.
I'm just
Not
saying.
even that. In the Apollo Justice games, they visit the law schools.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that law school it has to be as long as Father Guido Sarducci's college thing. That is a
It's like
reference that none of you are going to get, and no one under the age of 60 is
Are
going to
we
get.
adding
my
but
cousin
whatever.
Vinny?
It's not. No, my cousin Vinny is. That's not. No, Father Guido Sarducci was you know what? That's a whole other conversation that
Just add it to the
is going to be
list.
impossible. Do you guys remember Atlantis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vinny. He's a comedian. He's got a whole thing. He's also in Casper. I will give you the whole history of this at some point, but for now,
so
just
it's
Google
not like
Guido
a movie
Sarducci.
thing, it's just a person.
He's a comedian. He was on Saturday Night Live a few times. He had the Find the Pope and the Pizza game for the kids. I feel like I'm just
So-
saying words and I'm making you guys more confused.
Add
A little bit.
Saturday Night Live
A
to
little
the
bit.
list.
Have you never
No.
seen
The
anything
whole
from
of
Saturday Night
Live.
Live?
No.
All
Oh my-
80 seasons.
Yes,
40-something.
all of it.
50? God, where are they
I
at?
did have one other thing.
I
What's up?
also had a thing. But go
A
ahead.
minor thing.
Wait.
So-
Before we do that, we're trying to let Envy air his grievances.
No, I said I was going last, so
Okay.
All right. So Polly, the bird, yeah.
Yeah.
When like when they were done interrogating it, it like flew up and away, and then there were a lot of feathers floating around. Like 1 or 2 feathers I get, but there were a lot of feathers, and they kept coming for a couple minutes. So I'm pretty sure that bird flew straight into a ceiling fan.
So
Logically, yes. But
I'm gonna just make a note. I saw one of the feathers fall in one of the opening scenes of the movie in the courtroom and just watched it float down. I was like, is that confetti? But I'm like, that doesn't look like the confetti.
time
Anyway,
is warped and space is bendable.
but what I was gonna say was, and this is going back to the thing about him fumbling with his notes because I didn't get to comment on it because people were talking. So the thing with him fumbling for his notes, I think that's more. It kind of reminds me a little bit more reminiscent of like the player going through the court records and like taking inventory of what all evidence they have at their disposal, so that way they can, present.
It's actually a
that's
pretty good
just
point.
what I was
Failing
thinking
and
about.
quick saving.
Yeah.
Oh my god, imagine if it was timed like that, though.
But yeah, no, that is honestly what it reminded me of. Like, fumbling through all of my stuff and going over it like 3 times. Like, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? If
Nope,
I'm not
can't get the penalty,
using
go back, reload.
So yeah, if like I'm not using like a guide, like that's usually what I'm doing.
We did not do that as much in the thing. I don't think we saved as many times as that.
I mean, there is a lot of, like, common sense arguments in the game, but there's also stuff that, like, you really would not think to apply it until you're just going through, like, is this it?
Yeah. I had a lot of moments where I was telling Kozi, like, I know the information, but I don't know how to tell the game what I know.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyway, I'm done.
do we feel like we're getting to the end? Can Envy air his grievances?
Okay,
Yeah.
wait, one more thing.
Okay.
Why the fuck in this super high-tech thing where they can throw screens at each other, are they still using paper?
It's a good point.
Good question.
As someone who has been involved in depositions that have been over Zoom in the past 2 years, you can easily share electronic files and that stuff and share screen and do all that sort of thing. People still do like to have a physical copy in front of them because it's sometimes easier for them to go through and like look at 2 things at once or do a number of things and also I feel like a lot of it is like, oh, do I want to show the entire audience all the evidence? Or do I want to find it first and then take a look at it before I put it up on the projector?
I want the audience to watch me scroll through everything like shit.
Yeah, no. I think that makes the most sense to not show anyone.
Okay, Envy, go off.
Well, it's not so much for me going off. It was just something that I noticed personally. Like, usually when I review a movie or a TV show, I tend to focus more on, well, the characters and the story. And if it's an animated thing, the animation. Very rarely do I ever talk about editing or film work. If it's good editing, then yeah, I'll say it's good editing. But like usually when it's bad editing, sometimes I don't really notice it or I don't pay much attention to it because I really didn't go to film school, because I know Al and CC, they went to film school, so they would probably have better knowledge of better editing and better camera work. When I was watching this movie, I noticed that some of the shots and some of the editing were a little weird. Like in one of the scenes where Miles and Edgeworth were talking in the jail cell, they had a shot that just lingered on the back of Phoenix's head for like a minute straight, and they didn't change any shots, do any kind of shots at all. Like, if you want to focus on Miles, that's
Maya.
one thing, but like, why just like they didn't move at all? They just kept the camera stationary there the entire time. And then there was one shot when they were investigating at the park, and I'm not making this up. I literally rewound the movie when I was rewatching it, or when I was watching it just to double check. They kept the shot in where the actress who played Maya, she just spits in the background, and they kept that in. And I was like,
I mean,
why?
At that point, I think it's just intentional.
so my whole thing is like, if you've ever watched people walking around, there are people who just randomly spit.
Yeah, but why would you
Yeah.
keep that in
That's
the
a
movie
thing.
though? Like, wouldn't you notice
I
that?
think it was
Like,
a
Because
character thing.
Yeah, she has no
Yeah.
character stuff. You got to give her something.
Yeah.
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 Also, they were probably just like, this is fine. Also, the thing with how this was shot, and I think this is more for me, and I guess it's because I do, or at least have watched some J-dramas in the past, like Japanese, like TV dramas, like, this is kind of normal for how they film. Also, it's just like, I was kind of like, I feel like I'm more watching a horror movie a little bit with how some of these shots are done. But
yeah.
So
That's just
I
me.
agree.
I mean,
I
to
was
be
thinking
fair,
about the shot in the-
I'm not really familiar with Japan's live action stuff. Obviously,
Most of it is not
This
great.
this looked better than a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure, but
I don't know
this
what's
also
going on in Japan.
was...
That's where the company Sony comes from. They make fantastic filming cameras. What's going on with some of their TV production?
So, Envy, I think I know what specific scene you're talking about with the not moving off the back of Phoenix's head. But I feel like that's supposed to, like, give you the feeling of, like, seeing it from Phoenix's perspective. Because when you do it in the game, you're just seeing the other side of the glass.
yeah, I get that. It's just if it was just like an American drama, they would cut back and forth to like seeing Phoenix reacting to what Miles would say and vice versa. So I guess it's maybe my cultural ignorance, I guess, for not seeing a lot of live action.
I think it was just trying to adapt something where it's first person, but then you have to make it third person, obviously, for the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's just a stylistic decision that sometimes that they were making.
Right.
I didn't find anything particularly weird.
I felt like they were trying to like emulate the game, like Kozi said, but
Mhm.
also make it like, you know, a stylistic or like sleek looking movie, and it kind of came off like kind of horror-esque, like Chibi said.
I think that works
But
for
I think it was, I think it was kind of how it's
it definitely
supposed to
works.
look, you know, yeah.
Like, they were trying to make it more serious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Towards the end, when Von Karma was freaking out and they kept doing like all those
Oh
jump
my
cuts to
God.
him screaming and then going back to
Yeah.
talking, I was like,
I
is this
hated that.
buffering? What is
Oh
happening
yeah, his
here?
breakdown
Like, I
was a lot
refreshed
more
the
effective in the
page.
movie than it was in the game. Because in the game, it was
Yeah.
just comedic villain is going comedic, whereas Von Karma in the movie, it's like, yeah, you believe that this guy's having a nervous breakdown because he finally got caught after all these years, and his whole legacy is going to be defined by this moment. So
Okay, so...
Yeah, I liked that actually.
Like, again, I was falling asleep towards this point in the movie, but Cece was literally like, what is going on?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
admit the first time that we watched it, we were like, oh wait, we need to reverse this. Is it like buffering or something? Yeah, no, because I think part of that is just like so much stuff is watched on a digital format nowadays that I don't know that editing like that is going to be common anymore, because it does at first kind of seem like your video's skipping. But I do
Yeah.
kind of like that. I thought it was very effective to
I
kinda,
thought so too. It had a good impact.
yeah, it kind of like showed like,
it's like he's
not just what
freaking
he's
out, but
saying,
now
what's
I'm
like
also
in his
freaking
head.
out.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how much of that freak out was actually a freak out and how much of it... Because, like, I feel like some of his more exaggerated and aggressive movements weren't actually happening.
Yeah, they're like a visualization of his own internalized anger.
Yes.
I like that part. I thought it was
Yeah, I
pretty cool.
did too.
And honestly, that was like a pretty good long shot for the most part. I mean, it's not technically a long shot because they were
Does
like...
it count?
It's still
Because they were cutting
yeah.
a lot, but like I really feel like that guy probably like did 2 takes where he just like straight up monologue the whole time, and they just
Right.
cut some inserts.
Yeah.
So good on him for that. That was pretty effective.
They're like, do one where you're serious and angry, and do one where you're, like, tripping balls.
Yep, we'll put it together. It'll work. Any other grievances?
no, that was just it.
Okay.
Nope.
I got. I'm trying to think. Like, maybe I should show you some movies that like have some more experimental camera work here and there.
I feel
There's
like
some good
Japan
ones.
in
Yeah.
general is very, like, dynamic in how they shoot things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do have a specific style that they have.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
any...
they go for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
So is it a yay or a nay?
You
I
know,
would say
a
yay.
movie.
I'm gonna say
I'm
overall,
gonna
like,
say
yay.
yay.
As far as, like, here's the thing. I'm wondering how much people would, like, love this if they weren't already an Ace Attorney fan, but at the same time, who's looking this up if they're not an Ace Attorney
Right.
fan?
Yeah, let's do
You know,
it.
in all honesty, though, in terms of like respecting the lore and the characters and making it open to new people, I think it's a decent enough job. If like you've never heard of Ace Attorney before and your weird weeb friend is like, "Hey, you want to watch this live action movie with me?" It's like, okay, you can at least understand how the world works,
Yeah.
the basics of the
Yeah.
characters for the most part, and understand what happened. And then obviously you can say, okay, did you like this? Well, you can play the games or watch the anime. So there's that.
I think
Yeah.
in comparison to a lot of anime type live action adaptations, it's a lot better, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We watched Attack on Titan recently.
Yeah, that was bad.
The
So bad.
changes they made are changes that really worked in their favor most of the time.
Yeah, the exact opposite of the Attack on Titan movies.
You're right. You're right.
So, like, I really do feel like the movie would be a good testing point for people who are unfamiliar with Ace Attorney to see if they could get into it, with the exception of the fact that they definitely couldn't play the first game after that.
Here's the thing, though. I disagree with you there. Because I'm trying to think about this from a perspective of, like, I have played the games, yes. And as a result, I like the movie because it's a good adaptation of the games. But I'm also trying to, like, go from, like, an outside perspective a little bit, trying to think, like, okay, if I hadn't played the games, if I don't have... And part of... For me, adaptation needs to be able to stand totally on its own to be a good adaptation. Like... Otherwise, you kind of fail, I think, in a way, as a movie. If I need to know
Okay.
80 different other things before I go see this, that's kind of an issue.
But,
Like, you can't stand on your own.
I'm gonna pause you
But-
there because I feel like Ace Attorney is so prevalent in, like, meme culture. Most people have a general idea of what it would be about.
Okay,
I'm saying-
I don't think so. I
I'm
really
saying
don't.
more as people who, like, vaguely know what it's about, want to know if they could get into it, so they would watch the movie before committing to the game. I think it would work.
I don't think so, because here's the biggest problem with that. I think the biggest draw of Ace Attorney is the characters. And unfortunately, a lot of the characters are pretty flat in this movie because they don't have enough time to show their characterization. And I think that might be the biggest problem. It's fine for us. We've played the game. We know all the inner workings of these characters for the most part and can kind of do that. But if I came in completely, like, I have no idea who any of these people are, I kind of vaguely know what the game is about, but I don't know who anyone is or any of the things they do, I might be like, this is kind of boring and I don't care about anyone. Cause,
Yeah, you could, like,
Now-
hate Maya on spot.
yeah, why would I ever give a shit about Maya? She's
Now,
nobody.
I wonder if the live action shows are any better.
Good question.
Like the stage shows.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They might have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Are they stage shows or are they musicals?
Stage shows.
Dang.
That'd be pretty freaking entertaining as a musical, having everybody sing
I would
along.
love to see it. Yeah.
Alright,
there-
TikTok, we did Ratatouille, now I gotta do Ace
There are a lot of Japanese stage shows that will market themselves as a show, but it's actually a musical.
Yeah,
It's great.
that is a thing.
I'd be down for that.
It'd be
Anywho,
fun.
so overall, we're saying this is still a yay for us. I'd say it might be if I had never seen this, maybe a meh to a light yay. And I known nothing about Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
But as far as like as someone who's played it, like, yeah, this is a yay. Which is kind of good because like there's just a lot of bad live action anime and manga adaptations. We should talk about what's going to be coming over the next couple weeks. This is a bit of a segue. first we got to talk about next week. We'll be doing the second half of Demon Slayer, season 2, or the Entertainment District arc, whatever you want to call it. The thing with Hooker Doc Ock. And then after that, this is kind of important that we're talking about live action anime today. We're gonna do another tournament. Sort of. Kind of. Yes, we will. So we're coming up on our 150th episode. We wanted to do something special. There are 10 live action movies based on anime and manga. We will be watching 8 of them.
You got to preface by saying American versions.
Yes.
Oh.
You didn't say American.
Made in the United States.
10?
There have only been 10 made in the United States. If we went to Japan, we'd be at this for months.
Right.
Oh my god, are we gonna watch Death Note?
We already did. So that is one of them.
Yeah.
We will not be rewatching it because if you want to see what our opinions were, go back and watch that. We will talk about it like episode 150, which I believe will be on May 15th. We're going to like talk about all of them, but over the next couple weeks, other than 1 week that we're going to be taking off to see the new Jujutsu Kaisen movie, we're going to be watching a live-action American adaptation of a anime or manga that they have made. So
Get your liquor ready, folks. You're gonna need it for some of these.
I'm gonna tell everyone what they are. So after next week, we're gonna start with The Guyver from 1991. The Guyver came with a sequel a few years later. We will not be watching that one because we were just gonna stick to the ones that are like stand on their own kind of thing. Though I have heard the sequel is better. So if you actually want to end up watching that, go ahead. Maybe we will at a later point. Who knows? Week after that is going to be the Jujutsu Kaisen movie. After that, we were watching 1995's Fist of the North Star.
Ooh.
Good times. After that, apparently there was a very big gap between the anime booms. 2008's Speed Racer from the Wachowskis, who brought us The Matrix.
In other words, get your drugs because you're gonna need it. Ecstasy.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. John Goodman's in it, if I'm remembering correctly. After the week after that will be 2009's Dragon Ball Evolution.
Ugh.
The joy, so much joy. So, get ready. We're gonna get some tequila or something. I don't know. Week after that will be the 2013 adaptation of Old Boy, which I think stars Josh Brolin. It was originally a manga. It was then turned into a Korean live-action film, which is actually very well acclaimed in 2003. And then I don't remember whether they were readapting the manga or they were American adaptation of the movie. But one way or another, it's still based on a manga, so we're going to go with that. Week after that is 2014's Edge of Tomorrow, which is based on All You Need Is Kill. Then 2017's Ghost in the Shell, with Scarlett Johansson and whatever else was going on there. And after that, the final one that came out most recently, 2019's Alita Battle Angel. So those will be the 8 that we're going through. Again, skipping Death Note and the second Guyver movie. One that we've already talked about. The other one, sequel, we're just gonna, not go with it for now. And then the week after Alita Battle Angel, we'll just take a day and discuss, like, okay, which one was the best adaptation? Which one had the coolest action? Which one was the worst acted? Which one, like, there's a couple here that are going to, like, be contending for the worst spot, I guarantee you. But it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to have a couple weeks of who knows? These could either be god-awful, hilariously bad, surprisingly good, or amazing. I have no idea what we're going to have here. I've seen one of these movies. And, no, I've seen 2 of these movies. I tried to forget one of these movies. This will be interesting. I'm looking forward to this. So, please come and watch
Sounds like
all
an
these
award
movies.
show we're gonna do.
Oh yeah, we'll make categories. I don't give a shit. Let's do some
Oofies.
fun stuff. Yeah, oofies or something. The Oof Awards. I don't know. No, this isn't. Well, I don't know.
I mean, we could just hand out little statues of like old oafs.
I mean, we're
Have that be the
anime yay or
Oscar.
nay. We can give them yays and nays awards or something. I don't know. We'll think about it. Don't worry about it just yet. This coming week, Demon Slayer, Entertainment District, what is it, 7 through 13?
No, it's
8 through 13?
7 through 11.
I forget whatever. 7 through 11? That's it? Oh,
Yep,
all right.
11 episodes for this arc.
Okay, 7 through 11. We're going to finish it out, see what else happened, and yeah, we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!